What's going on, everybody? Josh Engleman for Awesemo.com, and I am back with my NBA DFS contenders on FanDuel for Wednesday, April 28th. Now be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all of our other content goes live. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman so you can get updates to these sim results as we get closer to lock. And finally, let me know in the comment section who is your favorite and least favorite of my contenders for today's slate. We are rounding out the bottom of my top 10 with CJ McCollum, Michael Porter Jr., Robert Covington, Jason Tatum, and Jordan Clarkson on the outside looking in. Who will be my favorites, my top 5 plays for today? It is time to find out. First up at number 5, we're going to the small forward position. We're grabbing Joe Ingles. He's 6,100, projected for 34.5. The goal's 43.5. He's in the optimal lineup 22% of the time. Jazz are in a great matchup against Sacramento. Terrible defense, pace neutral for Utah, but the defensive matchup is absolutely perfect. No Donovan Mitchell, which we know. No Mike Conley either, which increases usage and assist rates across the board. So I've got Ingles in for 34 minutes. Look at those rates. Normally a 0.87 guy. Got him at a fantasy point per minute here. 20% usage, 17.5 points, 7 assists, 4 boards. Maybe he gets a stock. We'll see. That's not really Joe Ingles' game. But I think he looks great. It's a small forward spot that is traditionally difficult to fill. And you're getting Joe Ingles, who is essentially the point guard for the Jazz tonight, playing monster minutes with increased rates across the board. He's not priced where he should be. He should be significantly more expensive given the role that he'll have today. So I'm loving getting to Ingles, and I'm loving getting to the Jazz in general. Now at number 4, we're paying up a little bit at power forward, and we're grabbing Anthony Davis, 9,500, projected for 47. The goal's 55. He's in the optimal lineup 24% of the time. AD's playing legitimate minutes. I've got him in for 32 here. He basically played 32 the last time out. He's not supposed to have any minutes restrictions at this point. So in theory, he could even play more. 1.47 fantasy points per minute because the Lakers are taking on the Washington Wizards. That's the biggest pace up spot in the league. They gained 5 possessions over their average. This looks like a coming out party for AD's return off of injury. He can absolutely wreck Washington, even in limited minutes. 31% usage, 25 points, 8 boards, 3 assists, 3 stocks. And if that stock number goes higher, oh boy, does that number climb, because 5-6 stocks, that is a realistic outcome for Anthony Davis. And if the points and rebounds come, that creates monster scores on FanDuel. I paid up for Anthony Davis the last time out. Didn't totally work, but I'm certainly going back again. Even though it's a back-to-back, we're running back one of the best plays from yesterday. That's small forward JAYLEN Brown, 8,100, projected for 43. The goal is 50. He's in the optimal lineup 26% of the time. Kemba Walker's still out, but we've got Jason Tatum questionable. I've got him in. You can see him on this list. I've got Robert Williams questionable, also in here. Those guys happen to get ruled out. This gets even better for Brown. But either way, he sees big-time usage and assist rate bumps with no Kemba Walker on the floor. 36 minutes, 1.21 fantasy points per minute at 32% usage. 27 points, 6 boards, 4 assists, 2 stocks. What's not to like? It's a Hornets team that, while it is a pace-down spot, they're missing so many legitimate starting bodies that I think it still looks good. We still don't have Ball. We don't have Monk. We don't have Gordon Hayward. This looks like a really good, like 8,100 for JAYLEN Brown with no Kemba Walker. That price is nice. Small forward, tough to fill. I love the JAYLEN Brown, Joe Ingles combo at small forward. There's a concentration of games tonight where you either really like a bunch of guys or there's nothing there. And in this case, with JAYLEN Brown, with Jason Tatum, with Robert Williams, there's a lot to like on the Celtics. While I know I mentioned I like a lot of Utah Jazz, the number 2 guy is a Sacramento Kings shooting guard, TYRESE HALIBURTON. He's 7K, projected for 38. The goal's 46. He's in the optimal lineup 26% of the time. Now we know what's happening here. HALIBURTON is getting a massive bump in everything with De'Aaron Fox out. 36 minutes, north of a fantasy point per minute, 21% usage, and then a little bit of everything. 17 points, 8 assists, 3.5 boards, just over 2 stocks. Pace neutral spot against Utah, and obviously not the best matchup in the world. They still have Rudy Gobert patrolling the paint, but I can't worry about it. TYRESE HALIBURTON is just simply going to be more expensive with De'Aaron Fox out. I want to grab the value as much as I possibly can. For him to get to 46 with a projection of 38, like that's not all that crazy to me. I think it happens 1 out of every 5 games. That's enough to push him pretty high. That's why he gets to this number 2 spot. Now, he's not number one, and I know there's going to be some groans for the number one, but I'm not changing it up at all. I love my number one pick. Now, before we get to that number one contender, one last reminder, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all of our other content goes live. Then head on over to Twitter and follow me at Josh Engleman so you can get updates to these sim results as we get closer to lock. And then finally, please let me know in the comment section underneath this video your favorite contender, your least favorite contender, and the guy that you think should be on this list that you do not see. And finally, the number one contender for today's slate, point guard eligible, Damian Lillard. He's 8,100, projected for 44.5. The goal is 50.5. He's in the optimal lineup 32% of the time. I'm locking and loading Damian Lillard, 37 minutes, 1.2 fantasy points per minute. I'm actually bringing him slightly down. 30% usage, 27 real points, 8 assists, 4 boards. Maybe you get a steal. It's a pace up spot too against the Memphis Grizzlies. They gain 2.2 possessions over their average. That's like an extra fantasy point for Lillard. I'm going to continue jamming Damian Lillard into my lineups if he continues to be in the low 8s. Yesterday, Indiana just simply got blown out by Portland. Lillard hit his mark from a fantasy point per minute rate. He just played 31 minutes. He was perfectly average yesterday. That's not what you want, but it's not like he was dreadful. You got exactly what pretty much everybody expected out of Damian Lillard. I don't expect him to go for 55. That happens a quarter of the time. But when he does, he becomes essential because of his price tag. So Damian Lillard is the number one contender for today's slate. Alrighty, folks, that will do it. Those are my NBA DFS contenders on FanDuel for Wednesday, April 28th. Process show is in the books. Go watch that. DraftKings version of this video is around here somewhere. Strategy show with Laffy at 10 a.m. And then I'm back for live before lock, 6 p.m. Eastern with Greg Ehrenberg. So please tune in. That is it. Good luck tonight, everybody. I will talk to you guys again tomorrow morning for another edition of the Contenders.